I've been focused. And then those Scots had to take me out of my... they had to take me out of that.
People always say the truth eventually exposes itself, but nobody expected this. Nobody expected Martell Holt to walk back into the spotlight, not with a fresh start or an apology, but with a court filing so bold it left even his own supporters stunned. Out of nowhere, Martell is demanding full custody of his kids with Melody. Yes, full. Not joint, not modified visitation, full custody, like he wants to rewrite their entire family structure overnight. And the way it happened? The timing, the wording, the energy behind it, it was messy. It was loud. And if we're being real, it felt less like a father protecting his children and more like a man who can't stand seeing his ex-wife finally stand tall without him.
I was there. So you know when people tell the truth, they go, break like me. I'm gonna bring forth the evidence. Stuff that Tisha said, stuff that Marcel said, it's not true. So that's when you go to court. When you say not alleged, so this when you go to court. So that's how you know people lying, okay?
Because the second Melody started winning, truly winning, something in Martell seemed to snap. And now, this custody battle isn't just a disagreement. It's turning into a war. One with emotional landmines, old wounds, and a whole lot of secrets rising back to the surface. But here's the twist. Behind every filing, every accusation, and every courtroom rumor, there's a deeper story, one that goes way beyond legal documents.
Let's talk about your morals or lack thereof. Let's talk about your integrity or lack thereof. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff that actually has a little bit of substance. Okay? Secondly, girl, you're talking about I filed bankruptcy. Yes, sweetie, after your boyfriend filed. After he filed. So I didn't want everything to fall on me, not because I couldn't take care of everything. So let's get the facts straight, but I'm sure you have still continued to listen to all the lies that he gave. You know what? I finally understand why you was able to be a side chick for 5 years, because you dumb.
One that traces all the way back to how Martell and Melody started, and how everything slowly, painfully fell apart. So let's break it down, because this drama didn't start in a courtroom. It started long before.
Let's talk about your morals or lack thereof. Let's talk about your integrity or lack thereof. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff that actually has a little bit of substance. Okay? Secondly, girl, you're talking about I filed bankruptcy. Yes, sweetie, after your boyfriend filed. After he filed. So I didn't want everything to fall on me, not because I couldn't take care of everything. So let's get the facts straight, but I'm sure you have still continued to listen to all the lies that he gave. You know what? I finally understand why you was able to be a side chick for 5 years, because you dumb.
Long before the betrayal, long before the TV cameras, long before social media turned their marriage into a public battlefield, Martell and Melody were that couple. The couple people believed in, the couple that showed up smiling and hand in hand, building a life brick by brick. They weren't just lovers, they were partners. They built businesses together, built a brand together.
I just hate that this narrative is going around and, you know, bloggers picking things up and, you know, certain people trying to destroy me. But it's not going to happen, though. You know, I'm not going to allow it to happen.
And for a long time, they built dreams together. If you go back to the early years, you can almost feel the hope they had. Melody was the one with the spark. Creative, business-minded, always thinking 2 steps ahead. And Martell, well, he had the charm. He had the confidence, the look, the I got this attitude that made people naturally follow him. They complemented each other in ways that made sense at the time. Where she planned, he executed. Where she organized, he powered forward. It worked, until it didn't. Success changes people. And for Martell, success didn't just change him, it inflated him. The cheers got louder, the attention grew bigger, and the marriage that once felt like a partnership started to shift into something one-sided. Instead of building with Melody, he started building around her, then without her, and eventually against her. And somewhere in that storm, the long work hours, the rising fame, the secret phone calls, the late-night arguments, the betrayal slipped in. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. When Melody discovered the truth, it didn't just break her heart. It broke something inside the marriage that could never be repaired, something that held everything together: trust. But here's what people forget. Even after all the cheating scandals, the lies, the exploding arguments on TV, Melody still tried. She tried for the kids. She tried for peace. She tried because she believed a stable home mattered. And for a while, they co-parented. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but enough to keep the peace and protect their children. She made sure they had stability, routine, comfort, a safe space. Martell, on the other hand, he struggled. He struggled with business ventures falling apart. He struggled with public backlash. He struggled with being seen as the villain in the narrative he largely created. And he struggled the most when Melody began to glow without him. Because when she left, she didn't just walk away from a marriage. She walked into her own power, new deals, new confidence, new opportunities. The same woman he once controlled with manipulation and chaos was suddenly unstoppable. And that, right there, is when the real tension took root. Fast forward to now, and the co-parenting arrangement that had been working for years suddenly becomes unacceptable to Martell. Out of nowhere, he files for full custody, acting as if something dramatic happened overnight. But nothing changed, except one thing. Melody's level up was getting louder. Here's where the story turns. But the question everyone is asking is simple. Why now? Why after all these years of co-parenting? Why after praising Melody as a mother in interviews? Why after posting about spending time with the kids peacefully? Why slam on the brakes now? Because deep down, this doesn't look like concern. It looks like retaliation. It looks like insecurity. It looks like a man who cannot stand that the woman he once thought he controlled is living a life he no longer has access to. And what nobody expected was how far Martell would take it. Behind the scenes, he began collecting screenshots, old text messages, travel schedules, anything he could present as a reason to argue Melody was unavailable. But what he didn't count on was the court asking the same question the public has been shouting. Where was this energy when you were out here creating the same chaos you're accusing her of? The deeper the case goes, the more it exposes the messy timelines, the financial struggles, the moments where Martell wasn't present. The times Melody held everything together while he was out building a whole separate life with another woman. And here's the wild part. Whispers are circulating that Martell believed he finally found a loophole, something that would make the court question Melody's schedule, her businesses, her commitments. But that's where his plan falls apart, because courts don't care about who's booked and busy. They care about who's consistent. And Melody, she's been consistent since day one. She made sure homework was done. She made sure the kids had emotional support. She made sure they didn't feel the full weight of the divorce that threatened to pull the entire family apart. And people don't forget that. Judges don't forget that. But while this battle rages, the part that hurts the most isn't the scandal. It's not the accusations. It's not the public spectacle. It's what's happening behind closed doors, in the hearts of the kids caught in the middle of a fight they never asked for. You can feel the emotional weight building. For Melody, this isn't just a court case. It's a nightmare she hoped she'd never relive. After fighting so hard to create peace, she's being pulled back into the same chaos she escaped. And the exhaustion is real. Imagine finally healing, finally breathing, finally walking in your purpose, only to be dragged right back into a battlefield you didn't start. Every filing forces her to revisit old trauma. Every accusation feels like another attempt to control her. Every court date reminds her that no matter how far she's come, Martell still finds ways to insert himself into her life. That's the part that stings. For Martell, the emotional truth is complicated too. Whether he admits it or not, some part of him is hurting. Hurt people do messy things. His pride is bruised, his image is damaged, his finances are tight. And instead of healing, he's fighting. He's clinging to control. He's masking personal struggles behind custody demands. But the real emotional heartbreak? It's with the kids. They're old enough to notice the tension, old enough to hear the whispers, old enough to feel the shift in energy between their parents. One day, everything seems normal. The next day, lawyers are calling and schedules are changing. Kids are intuitive. They know when something is wrong, even if nobody explains it. And that's the tragedy of this entire situation. What started as a broken marriage has now become a legal war that risks pulling the children into emotional crossfire. They don't deserve that. They didn't choose this. They love both parents, and that love shouldn't come with fear, pressure, or confusion. If there's one thing history has shown, it's that children carry the weight of their parents' battles long after the dust settles. And this battle, it's getting heavier by the day. So where does this all lead? What happens next? What does this case really mean for Martell, Melody, and the kids who were stuck in the middle? Here's the truth. No matter who wins in court, both parents walk away with scars. Custody battles change families forever. They shift dynamics, they break trust. They create wounds that don't heal easily. And once the court is involved, it's nearly impossible to go back to peace. But there's something deeper unfolding here, something people need to understand. This case isn't just about custody, it's about control, it's about ego, it's about unresolved hurt turning into legal warfare. It's about a man struggling with loss and a woman trying desperately to protect her peace. And while the world watches, while social media debates, while fans choose sides, the reality is that this story is far from over. In fact, it's only beginning. Every court decision, every motion, every hearing will reveal more. More about their past, more about their behavior, more about the truth. But here's the final twist. Melody has something Martell underestimated: strength. The kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't seek revenge, the kind that simply refuses to break. She's survived betrayal, she's survived humiliation, she's survived rebuilding her life from the ground up, she's survived being dragged through headlines, and now she's surviving this too. No matter how the court rules, people see who's been consistent, people see who's been steady. People see who's been raising those kids with stability and love. And at the end of the day, judges don't rule based on chaos. They rule based on truth. As for Martell, this could be his breaking point or his wake-up call. Only time will tell. But if there's one thing he needs to understand, it's this: controlling someone is not the same as being needed, and dragging the mother of your children into court does not erase the past that brought you here. If he truly wants what's best for his kids, it might be time to step back, reflect, and figure out whether this fight is about fatherhood or something much darker. One thing is clear: this custody battle is about to reshape everything: their family, their future, their legacy. And trust me, we'll be watching every twist, every turn, every unexpected moment, because this story, it's far from done. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Martell demanding full custody? Is it genuine concern or just another chapter in a long line of emotional warfare? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this situation is getting deeper by the day.